World News in 5.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes.
World News in 5.
Here on Radyo Pilipinas Worldwide.
Good day. This is World News in 5 here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem on Wednesday as talks continue in Cairo to resolve details of an elusive bid for a ceasefire in Israel's war with Hamas militants in Gaza. The State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said Blinken emphasized that it is Hamas that is standing in the way of a ceasefire. The militants so far have refused to accept a plan calling for a several-week halt in nearly 7 months of warfare, along with Hamas failing to free hostages it is holding in exchange for the release of Palestinians jailed by Israel. But even as Blinken blamed Hamas for the lack of a truce, Miller said the top U.S. diplomat told Netanyahu that the U.S. remains opposed to the Israeli leader's call for a ground attack on the southern Gaza town of Rafah, where Israel says it plans to root out 4 remaining battalions of Hamas fighters. The US, the United Nations, and numerous world officials have voiced opposition to an attack on Rafah because more than 1 million Palestinian refugees are sheltering there, many of them ordered by the Israeli military to flee there from their homes in northern Gaza during the earliest weeks of the war. Netanyahu says the offensive is necessary to meet Israel's goal of erasing Hamas' control of Gaza and that it will happen regardless of whether there is a ceasefire and hostage release deal with Hamas.
World News in 5.
Here on Radyo Pilipinas Worldwide.
In other news overseas, lawmakers in the United States will vote next week on whether Speaker of the House Mike Johnson will retain one of the top leadership posts in the American government. Johnson, who has only been Speaker since last October, faces a threat from within his own party. Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene called on Johnson to resign on Wednesday, saying he has betrayed the principles upheld by former President Donald Trump and Make America Great Again or MAGA movement. If he does not resign, Greene says she will call for a vote to remove him. The procedural effort known as the motion to vacate is just the latest in several chaotic efforts to replace the House of Representatives Speaker as Republicans attempt to govern with a narrow or a very narrow majority. The motion to vacate is a procedural effort that allows any single member of the U.S. House of Representatives to call for a vote to remove the Speaker of the House from power. A simple majority is required for success. When Republicans won a narrow majority in the House in the 2022 elections, they agreed to allow motions to vacate as part of the rules package that is passed by each new Congress. Democrats did not allow for this motion when they held the majority in the U.S. House.
World News in 5.
Here on Radyo Pilipinas Worldwide.
And news from the Philippine Foreign Service Post, a series of photographs of ancestral and historical mansions of Filipino sugar planters taken by UK-based Irish photographer and visual artist Miss Yobhan Doran won first prize in the Architecture and Design category of the Sony World Photography Awards 2024 organized by the World Photography Organization. The pictures form part of a book co-authored by Doran and Miss Gina Consing McAdam entitled Houses That Sugar Built, an intimate portrait of Philippine ancestral homes. Doran said her aim was to capture the soul of the houses. Because of this project, she also discovered the Philippines, the country's fascinating history, beautiful heritage architecture, and warm and kind people. It is noted that the competition drew over 350,000 entries worldwide.
World News in 5.
Here on Radyo Pilipinas Worldwide.
And that concludes this edition of World News in 5 for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
World News in 5.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes.
World News in 5.
Here on Radyo Pilipinas Worldwide.